everyone, Husky Ninja here with a new community deck overview for you guys from my Pawsome decks section of my Discord server. So if you would like your decks shown here on my channel, please make sure you go and drop a link to it on either Encore Decks or Decklog over on at Pawsome Decks on my Discord server, as well as what you would like your deck called. Just in case you want to call it something different to what you have it listed as on the site. And today we have Flare Chan's Angel Beats deck. So on Decklog, he's called Angel Beats from Vid, as he has a video on it himself, which I will put a link to down below, as well as to his channel. So without further ado, let's start with the level 1 Passionate Girl Yui. And ahead of time, I am sorry if I miss saying names. It has been a while since I watched Angel Beats. But we have the level 3 Yellow Passionate Girl Yui. Continuous, this cannot be chosen by your opponent's effects. So if your character's like this does, like, for example, minus 1,000 on a chosen card on your opponent's field, it does nothing onto this card. And auto, when this card is placed on stage from hand, choose up to 2 of your other characters, and those characters get 1,000 power and a soul until the end of turn. This is great if you're at level 3 and there is an empty slot in front of one of your cards, so you can build up power, but also build up some extra soul. Even if there is a card in front, your opponent's whole front row is full, you still can build up some power for a card that is going to be faced with yours that otherwise you'd be 200 power to take on. Auto, pay 1, put a card from your hand into the waiting room. When this card attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's characters on the center stage, return it to their hand, and this card gets 1,000 power. This is a good way to get rid of cards that are otherwise too powerful for this card, or even if it's in front of another card that's slightly underpowered. And he runs a single copy of this card. Next up, we have 4 copies of Yuri Nakamura, which is red, because this deck is a red-yellow. When this card is placed on stage from hand, draw up to 2 cards, choose a card in your hand, and put in your waiting room. This is a good way to hopefully get some more cards you do need, or even backups, as well as get cards you don't need from your hand and just send them to your waiting room. So it's a good way just to manage your hand. And auto, when this card attacks, if you have a card named Heart of the World on your climax area, deal damage to your opponent, and this card gets 1,500 power to the end of your opponent's next turn. Damage may be cancelled. So in a way, it's almost like a climax combo, but it's just, you have Heart of the World in your climax area, you can deal a burn of damage. Plus, you get a good amount of a power boost onto this card, so without assists, you can get this card up to 11,000. Next, I don't know if these are the same, let me just check. No, they are different. With Angel Beats, you have a mixture of anime as well as a light novel artwork, which I think is really nice. But we have Yuri's independent actions. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, or by chance effect, you put the top card of your clock in your waiting room, so it's a good healer even if you don't play it from hand. Which nowadays, a lot of clock heals is from hand. And auto, pay 1, when this attacks. If a card called After the Battle is in your climax area, you may pay a cost. If you do, choose a character in your waiting room, return it to your hand, and choose one of your death characters. And that character gets 3,000 power to the end of your opponent's next turn. Now this would also include itself, because it doesn't say other. So it's a good way to also help with power boost. So you have this one out, and also this one out, you can help build up powers of each other or of a card that you really don't want to have reversed that turn. And last, for level 3s, we have Yuri, Define an Unreasonable Fate. Continuous, the character faces card loses a soul. So basically you think, oh, I can attack this card for 2 soul or 3 soul. Nope. You have to reduce that soul by 1 as if you were side attacking. So it helps reduce the amount of damage you're going to be getting because of this card. And auto, pay 4. When this attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 4 of your other characters, put them in your main room, and deal X damage to your opponent. X is equal to the number of characters you put into your main room with this effect. Damage may be cancelled. It's a good way to also help basically cause some more damage before your actual attack happens. So it gives you a little bit extra bit of power and more likelihood of leveling your opponent up. As well as a good way to help reduce the likelihood of them going to cancel the main attack or the attack of your other characters. Because keep in mind, in White Shores, you only have 8 climax cards total per deck. Now, we're into level 2 with Separate Ways Yuri. Auto, change, pay 1, put a card from your hand into your waiting room. Put this card into your memory. At the beginning of your encore phase, if this card is rested, you may pay cost. If you do, choose a card called Yuri's Independent Actions in your waiting room. Put on the stage position that this card was on. So it's a good way to get this card here out. In a way, it's kind of like Bond without being Bond, but also allows you to heal because of the change effect. And he runs 1 copy of this. Next, we have 2 copies of Highly Skilled Sheena, which is a level 2 backup. Auto, pay 2. When you use this card's backup, you may pay the cost. If you do, return all cards in your main room to your deck and shuffle your deck afterwards. This is a good way, especially if you only have, for example, like 5 cards in your deck. This is a good way to basically put everything from your main room back in your deck without having to do refresh. So you don't end up with like refresh damage or the refresh cost as a result of this, because it is by your ability. And action, backup 2500 level 2, pay 1, put this card from your hand into your waiting room, choose one of your characters that is being front attacked, and that character gets 2500 power to the end of turn. This is basically so if you're just a little bit short of exactly 2500 against your opponent who's attacking you, this is a good way to basically be like, no you don't, play this level 2, we'll pay the cost for it at level 2, you get that little power boost that is temporary, it's just like an extra shield for your character. Those are the only level 2s. Next up we have a whole row of level 1s, and then we'll get into level 0s and then climaxes. So first off we have Malstudio Kanade. Continuous, during your turn, this card gets 500 power for each of your other death characters, which is a staple for a lot of level 1s. I know it is in one of the Love Live Sunshine trial decks. And it was a very common power boost you'd find at level 1 in the earliest of White Wars. It is good to have. So you're basically getting 2000 extra power. If you have 2 on your front row, well, you have 3 on your front row, which includes yourself. And you have 2 in the back row, so it's like you got 2 from your other front row characters, so you get 1000 from there. 1,000 for the number you have in your back row. This does not include assists on this power boost, but with assists and climax cards, which are like 1/1s, you can get a sizable amount of power on this for a level 1. Next, we have 2 copies of Kanade, sending everyone off. All your other death characters get auto encore, which is basically hand to waiting room encore, so you don't have to worry about your stock. And action, rest this card, choose one of your characters, and that gets 1,000 power to the end of turn. As long as you don't attack with this to do the action ability, it's a good way to just give something a little extra power boost above any climax power boost or assist cards. Next, we have 4 copies of Guitar Performer. Forgive me, I thought I was going to burp. But auto, pay 2, put this card into your memory. When this becomes reversed in battle, you may pay a cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 death character, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck afterwards. So it's a good way to get cards you do need. Next, we have 2 copies of Yuri's Powerful Draw, which is another backup. This one being a level 1 backup card. Auto, when you use this card's backup, if the number of death characters you have is 2 or more, choose one of your characters in battle, and that gets plus X power to the end of turn. X is equal to 500 multiplied by your level. So similar to how you have assist cards where it's like this cards in front of this get X power, X is equal to times that card's level. This does the same as a backup, but for its first auto ability, but is of the level you are at. And auto backup 1,500. Pay 1, put this card in your main room, choose one of your characters that's been front attacked. That character gets 1,500 to the end of turn. Next, we have 2 copies of Skilled Martial Artist Sheena. Auto, this ability activates up to 1 per turn. When you use an action, this card gets 1,500 power to the end of turn. So if you use the action ability of any other cards on your stage, this card will get a power boost up to once per turn. Next, we have 2 copies of Swimsuit Yuri, which has a similar power boost as this one has, but different. This card gets 500 power for each of your other rested characters. So it's not just of the amount of characters you have on stage, it is the amount of cards that are rested this card will get a power boost from. Next, we're now in level 0s. We have 2 copies of Friendly Combination, Shikane and Irin. Well, this assist anyway. Continuous. All your characters in front of this card get 500 power. And auto, pay, is that 1? I think it's 1. When this card becomes reversed in battle, you may pay the cost. If you do, put this card into your memory. There is a lot where it's just like sent to memory, but I don't think there's anything that benefits from the amount that are going into the memory. I'm just checking to see if there is anything that gets like a bonus, but I can see it as the series as a whole, where once they achieved things they couldn't in life, they then moved on. So I see it as a representation of that with the gameplay of how this deck runs. Which I think is really cool that they're referencing how that whole thing works in Angel Beats, and they reflect that in how their deck runs. Battle Meeting Kanade, which he runs 4 copies of. If the continuous. If the number of other characters you have is 1 or less, this gets 1,000 power. And the following ability. Auto Encore, put a character from hand to your waiting room. This is nice to see, especially level 0, when you don't really have a lot of stock at level 0. So this is a good way of you don't have to worry about that, but you need to encore something. Next up, we have Hardworking Fango Yui. Or is it you? Auto, pay 1. When this attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your other characters, and that character gets 1,500 power to the end of turn. Again, this you can also give to herself, as it doesn't say other. It says choose one of your... It says here, choose one of your characters. So I think that also includes herself. But it's just a nice little boost to have. Especially level 0, when level 0 can move so quickly. Next up, we have Powerful Performance, which is the brainstorm I feel of this deck. Of pay 1, reveal the top 4 cards. Well, reveal 4 cards to the top of your deck. Put them in your main room. For each climax card reveal, search your deck for up to 1 music character. Reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and choose a card in your hand. Put it in your main room and shuffle your deck. It's a good way to search for cards you do need for level 0 or level 1. Or if you play this at a higher level, to get the cards you need there. As well as to get the backups you do need. Plus getting rid of cards you don't need at that time from your hand. This was a good way to just shuffle your deck as you play. Next we have Thinner in Clothes. So in this whole deck, only 1 male character. But pay 2. Auto, when this card is put into your put into your waiting room from stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a death character in your waiting room and return it to hand. This ability is basically what the door trigger does, but you don't have to wait till you have a climax card with door, or, well, to trigger a card with door on to do it, you just pay 2 stock, and you can do it that way. So this is a good way of getting your character retrieval more often than with climax cards. Even if you have to pay for it. And next we have Strategic Provocation. Continuous, your character facing this card gets the following ability. Continuous, this card cannot side attack. And Auto, when this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle opponent is level 0 or lower, you may reverse that character. It's a good way to make sure your opponent can't be like, oh, I'll just side attack this. As well as they think, oh, I'll just reverse it. They forget, hey, that card is going to be reversed too. It's a good way to get around it, especially if your opponent doesn't have the stock to pay to encore. And this is a 4-door build. So we have 4 copies of After the Battle, which is a 1/1. And we also have 4 copies of The Heart of the World. I will put a link down below to both the decklog build as well as to their video as well. So please make sure you check out Flare-chan while you're at it. Plus, while you're down there, please don't forget to give me a like and subscribe. And check out the rest of the videos here on my channel. And if you want your deck shown on my channel, please make sure you join my Discord community. As well as if you want to take part in any video matches over either webcam or the White Shore Simulator, please let me know over there as well. Till next time, bye everyone!